exit, next stop, X.
This is what happens when you finish your book during class and you're just that desperate to have the next one. Required. We have 9 minutes to be back at school, but I got the next book. So what happened was I was almost done with A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, and I was planning on getting the next 2 books because I didn't have them like as I left school because there's a bookshop nearby, and then I had like 30 pages to go and I was freaking out about it in class because we had a bit of extra time, so I decided to read my book. So a classmate and I decided to use our 30-minute break to literally run to the bookshop so I could get these 2, so bless him, he's an angel. But I finished this before class ended, so it's a good thing I got these. I've made tiny amount of progress in the second book. I really liked the first book. I think I'm gonna talk about my thoughts on it a bit more in depth when I'm not very much sleep deprived, because I should have already been asleep and I'm not. And it was quite an exhausting day, but I'm really liking the series, and since I'm liking it and I have all of it and I just finished this one, I thought, why not make a reading vlog out of it? So let's go. This might be random as fuck, but this is a Jacqueline Wilson book. It's in the street, it's destroyed. But it just brought back so many memories because I remember reading this when I was a child, and it just really I really like this book, and it's really random to see it here, but fun little insight, I guess. It's one of those rare moments when I have actual sunlight in my bedroom, and all I want to do is just sit here and read, but I have to go to rehearsal, and I'll be there for like 5-6 hours, and by the time I'm back the house will be dark. But let's take advantage of these 10 minutes that we have, shall we? A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I really liked the first book. I loved the concept of small town, young girl, everybody knows everybody's business, but yet everybody has secrets, and that one old but never forgotten case that sort of always rubs somebody the wrong way until they just go, I have to solve this, I have to know. So here we have Pip, our main character, who I really liked her. She is, and honestly, I think she's a really good example of how a girl in media, in a book, can be smart and a bit of a know-it-all and all of that without being labelled as, oh my god, she's just too much, she's too smart, because the way Pip was written, all that she achieved, everything that she figured out, all the police work that she was doing on her own, felt entirely realistic for her character. At no point did I stop him like, oh, yeah, so you did that. So, extra points to Holly Jackson for that, because I really, burns, really appreciated that detail. And also, I think that Ravi's character really balanced her out, which was definitely needed. And I think that's what worked so well, at least for me, in that story, being someone who also comes from a small town where everybody knows everybody's business, is that everything in that concept, everything in the book, it felt really realistic. Oh, come on. Everything I was reading felt really realistic to the context that it's being presented to me in. And I really appreciated that about this book, which is exactly what made me a bit worried going into the next book. Hello? Editing me popping in from the future because it seems like all the multitasking got to my head and I was trying to explain a point, but I kept walking around it in circles, so I think it's just easier if I explain it this way. Basically, what I tried to explain was that I was quite worried going into the second book because the first book had a specific concept that worked really well for it. So, how do you go on and make a second book without either A, repeating said concept and just making a repetitive story, or B, trying to make everything feel grander and more extravagant and special and bigger than the first book to top it off, and then ending up with something that feels entirely foreign to the product you're trying to create. This is what I feel like I personally feel like happened in the further Stranger Things seasons, because at least for me, that's a personal opinion. What made Stranger Thing what it was and what made it really worth it was the fact that it was this small town, these specific families, it was very concentrated and specific and local. And as I've mentioned, I come from a small town myself. I get the feeling and I understand that sort of vibe of everything here is so regular, and then there's this one thing that disrupts it, and blah 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 blah. I was a little bit worried that this could end up happening with the second book of this series, with Pip sort of going all detective and maybe chasing cases or swiping under police's nose or trying to solve these big cases or suddenly being some sort of Sherlock Holmes genius instead of being this teenage girl that is using her intellect and her skills to actually solve cases, so it would turn into this sort of weird, unrealistic situation. But I was actually quite pleasantly surprised by the choice that Holly Jackson made, because Pip's case actually ended up arriving to her, not her actually taking on a case. And I also really enjoyed the fact that she had Pip actually refuse the case at first and try not to get involved and sort of have this very realistic teenager, I am not a detective sort of approach to this, and not just the arrogance and the grandness of, yes, let's make a second story. So yes, so far the second book is equally as intriguing as the first one. I'm really enjoying the case that they're solving and how they're going about it. I like how the characters' relationships are explored more deeply without it being, again, crossing over to the other side. It still feels really grounded in the story and in the world and in the concept that the author's creating, while still feeling new and fresh and exciting. So I think I'm gonna continue reading a bit more tonight. I also have to practice some lines for rehearsal tomorrow. This looks looking pretty. But I think I'm just gonna try to make a bit more progress, because I'm starting to get into the good part. And I'll update you later on how I'm feeling about how the story is progressing. I haven't updated this vlog much after I got home because I've been on and off reading, studying, because I need to learn some lines that are just impossible to stick in my head. All I'm going to say about the plot is that I'm really enjoying this book so far, and the reason I decided to hop on here is that Pip just had this whole little monologue thing about having to be likable, and why does she need to be likable to be right or do good or be herself. And that really resonated with me, both as a girl and as a reader, in an age where we all constantly, for some reason, we need women and our female characters to be flawless and perfect and nice and to be good characters and for us to enjoy them. And that really shouldn't be the case. Like, fuck being likable, who cares about a book character being nice and likable? What you want them to be is interesting and multi-layered and full of nuance, and not just likable and plain. And you don't have to be likable to be interesting. And I don't know, just I really liked that little passage, and I had to share that here, I guess. Really enjoying the book, and it's really dealing with all the new things, like Pip having already solved the case, being a 17-year-old girl, and everybody sort of thinking that she's faking the next one, and all those sorts of things. Her fighting with her boyfriend and her parents and her friends, and just sort of spiraling under all the weight that's been put onto her shoulders. After all, she is just 17, 18. So, yeah, really good book. Holds up, as good as the first one. 10 out of 10 so far. Let's continue reading. So, I've just finished the second book, and I have to say I absolutely love Pip's emotional... Thank you, laptop. Thank you for starting to whiz right now when I've started filming. Yeah, what was I talking about? I love Pip's emotional evolution throughout that book, and her sort of accepting that she doesn't have to be nice and she doesn't have to be good, and she's just gonna do what she needs to do to bring justice and fairness to the world. And yeah, I really appreciate a main character that's not trying to constantly be nice and trying to go with the flow just to be accepted for all her other quirks. Like, you do you, girl, you do you. I really like the direction that the story is taking. With sort of, it did go the way of making things bigger and grander, but thankfully, the things I was worried about that I talked about in an earlier clip, about it losing its appeal of small town, young girl, blah blah blah, actually did not happen, because while things do get bigger, it's because she's shoving herself into things even more. There's a lot of consequences for everybody's actions. It doesn't feel sugar-coated or fake. Future me, once again, I'm here to once again clarify the thoughts I was trying to make in this clip. but multitasking is clearly not my strong suit yet. But what I was trying to say in this clip was that I'm really enjoying how well the characters are written and how the characterization of all of them, especially Pip, feels so truly, purely teenager. In a way, I can't really explain it. What I said was, I've been a teenager myself. I'm 20 now, I'm freshly not a teenager. And I really feel like I can understand Pip and all the anger and the anxiety and the stress and the turmoil that's going on inside of her, and that desperate urge to just help everyone and do good and be the best version of herself, and just the way that she's written and that she behaves is so realistic to being a teenager and being a teenage girl and trying your best in a world that is stacked up against you. And all I wanted was to give Pip a hug. And I'm really excited for the next book, see how everything wraps up. I'm trying to do this little painting here to have something to do with my hands while I learn my lines. It's not going too well. Not the painting, the lines. The painting's going quite nice. Looking quite nice, actually. But yeah, I really want to sit down and make a chunk of progress with the third book tonight, that I still have a bit of time, because tomorrow I'm probably going to leave school at like 11 o'clock at night, and I'm going to be there early, like 9 in the morning, because that's drama school for you. But also, I also know that I need to learn those lines, and I'm really struggling, because sometimes ancient Greek tragedy, especially when modern Greek is not your first language, it's a struggle to get stick into your head, and I'm trying everything, but the last 2 pages of that monologue just do not want to stay, so we'll see how that goes. I will probably check in once I've made some progress with the third book, because, yeah, I don't know when that will be, because I have a few things to get done tonight. And I think the only opportunities I'm going to get to read within the next couple of days are going to be on public transport and reading like 10 pages during my break, so I will see you soon. Hopefully being a bit more rested and being a bit more hopeful about my lines. Oh god, I keep bumping my elbow in this. I am 85 pages into As Good as Dead, and I can just tell I am in for a long and painful ride. Why do I do this to myself? It's also very, very late, and I should be asleep, but I had to make a bit of progress, and I know that this book is gonna hurt me, and I want it to be over, so I'm already hurt, if it makes sense. Oh. Anyways, I have to go to sleep because I have an early wake up tomorrow, so good night. want everybody that's watching this vlog to know that I'm on page 317. I'm currently in a towel because I just got out of the shower and I just had to keep reading. It's past 1 in the morning. I have to be up at 8 and I have a really full day tomorrow at drama school, so I need to be asleep because I was already a zombie today. I was barely present for all my classes, but I can't. I am losing my mind here. Like, help me! Do you know that feeling when you're reading and you just get this ominous bad feeling that something's gonna go really wrong, and you kind of know what's gonna happen, you just don't want to believe it? That just happened to me on the bus, and I got super distracted. I almost missed my stop actually, but right now I'm literally running home as much as I can run because my feet hurt like hell because I've been doing a lot of dancing today. But I have about 50 pages left to go, and I'm absolutely need to cross the street. Good, I am absolutely freaking the fuck out because I just know it already hurts and it's not over. I know that by the time this book is over, it's gonna hurt a lot. So, yeah. Oh my god. Let's go. I've finished the book. I am reeling with thoughts. I think I'm gonna need to sit on it for a few hours or a couple of days until I can properly articulate my thoughts on it. It's not that late, so I could start the Netflix show if I wanted to.
Time. Is it okay if I record it? Interview 1. Name.
Forgot to turn the water on, so I don't have hot water for the next, I don't know, 30 minutes or so. So I thought I could just quickly hop on here and let you know just some final thoughts, I guess, about A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, the entire series, and As Good as Dead specifically. So, like many other readers, I was a bit upset by the ending of As Good as Dead. But at the same time, I feel like I can't really be upset at it because, while yes, it's an upsetting development for the reader, and it's not something I'd like to see the characters that I'm really starting to bond with have to go through. I also understand that things taking the turn that they did really make sense for Pip and her character. So while I'm upset, I can't judge it because I understand, but I would have liked just one more chapter at the end, just to sort of round things off, give me an epilogue. Like, you don't need to end your series on a not quite cliffhanger. I don't like that. It hurts. It's annoying. But I really enjoyed the book. And I think what I enjoyed the most in general was how much I'm really trying to not spoil anything here, but what was happening, while it was really grand and outrageous and crazy and scary and whatnot, it also felt really grounded in Pip's character, because you could really tell that she was acting out of stress and fear and anxiety and PTSD, that she was going through a lot and just freaking out. So, and honestly, I really enjoyed it. I don't know if it was this vlog that I talked about it in, but I talked about like Stranger Things and how in their attempt to make things grander and bigger as the seasons went on, they sort of lost the thing that made me love the series in the first seasons. And I think that this book is a perfect example of things getting bigger, stakes getting higher as the series goes on, but still keeping all the things that made it special and made it separate. So 10 out of 10 on that. Honestly, even if you're not that much of a crime book kind of person, I'd say read these, because they were really good and they were really fast paced and they pulled me out of a really deep slump. And yeah, started watching the Netflix show and I'm liking it. I'm not too mad about I'm only 2 episodes in. I'm not too mad about the changes they made in the story and stuff. And I like how they've already started introducing snippets for the further books. I don't remember if it got cancelled or something. I remember people being upset about that series on the internet, so maybe it's not going to get any further seasons. But I really like how they're sort of already laying the groundwork, because it feels even more solid as you watch. And I think that's one of the things that's really good about making a series out of a book that the whole series is already out for. Making a TV show, I guess, is a better phrase. I think the best phrasing for what I'm trying to say is making a TV show out of a completed series is really helpful, because you can sort of weave everything that happens in all the books together, and it just comes together in such a satisfying way. I think that's all I have to say about the books. Oh, before I go, I would like to show you the new books I got today. So, here's the books that I got today. I got a standalone and I got a series. I was planning on doing a surprise thing, but I guess this one's right side up. So I got Howl's Moving Castle because a friend recommended it and we were at the bookshop together and he got really excited about seeing this book there. And it seemed like a nice, short, quick read to just sort of like a palate cleanser for whenever I need one. And I also got this series, Deadly Education, what's called the Scholomance series, I think. But I've been quite excited to read these for a while now, and they've had all 3 books at my local bookshop for a while now as well. But the third book that they had in stock was always really fucking damaged. Like, the front cover was all bent and ripped up. And I asked them, like, could you do maybe a discount if I get that one? They were like, no, unfortunately, we're not allowed to do that as employees. We need a manager, blah, blah, blah. Which, okay, I understand. It's no big deal. But I didn't want to get a damaged copy for full price, so I just left it. And finally, they probably refreshed their stock or something, because this is in perfect shape. Oh, bent corner. That's what you get for shoving everything in your school bag with 3 pairs of shoes and a giant dress that you wear for 3 sisters. Yeah, I'm excited to read all of these. Also, this is a bit frustrating, but I'm electing to ignore it because everything else seems to be the same. But this is still something I'm going to choose to hide away in my reading cart. Plus we have Howl's Moving Castle. Well, thank you so much for watching. I will see you very soon, hopefully, with another video. And until then, stay happy, stay healthy, drink lots of tea, and I will see you next time. Thank you for watching. Goodbye. Well, that was a failure. Goodbye.